on the gridiron or courtside, you know what time it is. It's
Sports Plus Life. Sports Plus Life.
Ringside or front court or field pass, we ballin', no. Knuckle up or buckle up. I tell it like it is when I'm on my show. Home run, slam dunk, knockout, or gossip dough.
Sports Plus Life.
Yeah.
Sports Plus Life. Yo, 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 yo. What's up? What's really good? It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. How you feeling today? I mean, you already know it's fitting to go down today, so guess what? Guess what? Turn it off, turn it off, turn it all the way off now, boy. I should have added some auto-tune to that shit. But anyway, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns. This here is Sports Plus Life, that there sports podcast where we talk about all of the necessary things in sports and all of the necessary topics in life. And for the second straight week, sports is actually going to lead off the day. All right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, you guys are just too kind. All right. Oh, man, I hope everybody's having a good day. I really do. It's nice weather, nice spring weather, 62 degrees. Once again, it's not even noon yet. As I told y'all last week, my work schedule has changed, so it behooves me better to do these things early and on my day off. So, yes. So this definitely will get to you during the afternoon, during the daylight. But it is Tuesday, May the 11th, 2021. And this past weekend was Mother's Day weekend. So happy belated Mother's Day to all of the wonderful mothers out there. I didn't do much Mother's Day weekend. I had pink eye. Ain't that a bitch? Now, for real, I had pink eye. Like, my peoples was having a cookout at my grandmother's house, and I haven't actually set foot inside of my grandmother's house since her birthday back in 2019 because, of course, the pandemic, and she's 91 years old, and, you know, we're not taking no chance with that, okay? We're not taking no chance with that. Do all of this health and safety protocols, but like I said, I had pink eye, so I went over there Saturday to drop off my card for her, and my grandmother and my aunt, they saw that my eye was glassy and red on one side. It's gotten a whole lot better since then, pretty much over it now, but you know, it is what it is. So we are going to get ready to get set on the topic, so without further ado, my people, let's get to it, bruh. All right, the NBA playoffs are almost here. This is the last week of the regular season. The play-in games begin on the 18th. That is a week from today. And, what is going to happen? Will the Los Angeles Lakers be a play-in team? Pretty much, if you asked me that question 7 days ago, I would have said that it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that the Lakers are going to end up being in the play-in game because they were playing so awful. LeBron James had been out, even though Anthony Davis was back. He was playing very cautious, minutes restrictions, and all of that other jazz. But over this past weekend, now last Friday, they did lose to the Portland Trail Blazers to officially be in that 7th spot and be in that play-in scenario. Anthony Davis looked great. He looked great. He had 36 points, and then to follow up on a Sunday, a game that I pretty much knew that they were going to lose against the Phoenix Suns, Anthony Davis went off and had 42 points, and the Lakers won that game. So they have a huge game tonight against the New York Knicks, who themselves have a lot to play for because they have resurrected their franchise this season. The Knicks have not been the joke of a franchise that they have been for the last 8 years. A lot of people like to say they've been a joke for the last decade. Actually, no, they haven't. Pump the brakes. It's been close to a decade. The last time the Knicks were in the playoffs was 2013, where they did actually win a playoff round. And prior to that, they were in the playoffs consistently particularly once they made the Carmelo Anthony trade. So I'd say 2011, 12, and 13, they made the playoffs. But, I get what everybody is saying. The Knicks have been a laughingstock for the better part of a decade. But they play the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. They just beat the Clippers on Sunday, on Mother's Day, in Staples Center, so they didn't have to go anywhere. They're playing the Lakers in Staples Center. They have just been a breath of fresh air for basketball. Julius Randle, the one Laker who should have never got away. If you listen to my show back when I first started it 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, my favorite Laker during the dark ages, quote unquote, that's what I call him. My favorite Laker was Julius Randle. I did not want the Lakers to get rid of him, even when they brought in LeBron James, because I thought Julius Randle was a version of Lamar Odom that was 2.0 because of the way he played. Now it is coming to fruition, albeit in his sixth season, but he's still young enough, 26 years old. He's an MVP candidate, and not only that, Derrick Rose has turned back into all-star Derrick Rose as he's turned back the clock since he was traded back to the Knicks, because this is his second go-round with the Knicks. So they are currently in the fourth spot, with a half-game lead on the Atlanta Hawks. The Los Angeles Lakers right now are in the seventh spot, and LeBron James, who came back for a couple games a couple weeks ago, did not look the part and sat back out for about another week and some change. They're saying, reports is that he will be back tonight against the Knicks. I didn't think he would come back to play the Knicks. I thought that he would come back to play their next game against the Houston Rockets, and because they have a back-to-back. They play the Knicks tonight, they play the Rockets tomorrow. I didn't think that LBJ wanted to be part of a back-to-back, but hey, if he wants to help the Lakers avoid the play-in scenario, then I guess he feels like he needs to go to come back now. They have 4 games left. You figure if they go 4-0, that they would have a chance to be in the 6th spot, to sneak into that 6th spot, which is now occupied by the Portland Trail Blazers. So you look at the Lakers' schedule. They have the Knicks tonight, the Rockets tomorrow. They have at Indiana. That's not going to be a walk in the park. And then finally, to finish the season, they are at New Orleans. No more Zion. Zion broke his finger. You don't know what type of pride the Pelicans are playing for. I believe they're eliminated. They can't even get in the play-in scenario. But that begs the question. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, would you want to be in the play-in scenario? Or would you rather get the 6th seed and risk playing the Los Angeles Clippers in the first round? Now, I said this, everybody has just been going all in about, I want to see Lakers Clippers. And just to correct myself, New Orleans is not eliminated technically. They're just they're 2.5 games out of the 10th spot, which is currently held by the San Antonio Spurs. So they still have a slim chance by the hair of their nuts to get into the play-in situation. I don't see it happening, but I'm just telling you where things technically are at this very moment in time. Now, like I said, if you're the Lakers, what'd you rather do? They're 38-30. They're a game and a half back of Portland of the 6th spot. So Portland has a very, very tough schedule these remaining 4 games on their calendar. As a matter of fact, I think they have 3 games left, if I'm not mistaken. The Blazers, they don't play again until tomorrow. They play at Utah. Utah's trying to lock down that number 1 seed. Utah just lost the other night. They just lost last night, So Utah's trying to lock down the number 1 seed. Portland has to go to Utah. Then Portland has to go to Phoenix. Phoenix is also, they're on Utah's heels trying to lock down the number 1 seed. Okay? And what I think both teams don't want to happen is both teams, as in Utah and Phoenix, would like to try their best to get the number 1 seed to potentially not see the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs. And so Portland has Utah. They have Phoenix. And then who does Portland finish the season with? Let's see. They finish the regular season at home against the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets. They're trying to get to the 3rd seed, possibly. So the Blazers have a murderer's row to finish their season. So the Los Angeles Lakers, you figure, if you go 4-0 or even 3-1, you should be able to catch Portland, where you would have a better record than them to have that 6th spot. Because Portland Lakers have 4 games left starting tonight. The Blazers have 3. Now, once again, the question begs itself. If you're the Lakers, do you want to play in the play-in game? Or do you want to get to the 6th seed to avoid, a possible NCAA style winner take all, loser go home, even though it's not totally like that, because if the Lakers finish at the 7th spot, I believe they would have to play, there's a 7-8 match, and then there's the 9-10 match. So I believe the Lakers right now would have to play Golden State, and if the winner of that game would just automatically be in at the 7th spot. And then the winner of the 9-10 game, which right now would be Memphis and San Antonio, would have to play the loser of the 7-8 game to determine who would be the 8th seed. Little complicated, but it is what it is. I mean, I understand, again, why they're doing the play-in tournament this year because of the COVID, and this regular season was shortened by 10 games from the norm. Like I said, the COVID situation, and I get it for this season. I hope it's something they don't do moving forward. I'm gonna be honest with you. I understand the suspense that it adds, but I'm like, yo, if you're one of the best 8 teams in each conference, that's it. That's it. I mean, that's that. That's that. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now, bruh. I'm gonna tell you something right now. If the Lakers play in the play-in, right? Let's say they play Golden State. They could very possibly, with Steph Curry playing the way that he's playing, and if there's still question about LeBron's health and is AD back and is he going to be consistent, the Lakers could lose that game. Now, me personally, I don't think so. I think the Lakers would beat them. I think it would be a very close game. So they would get the 7th spot. So let's just say this. Say the Lakers get the 7th spot and Phoenix gets the 2 spot. Lakers just beat Phoenix the other day without LeBron and without Dennis Schroeder. I'm going to tell you this right now. I think Chris Paul is the MVP of the league. I do. I know everybody's saying Jokic or Embiid or whatever. I think it's Chris Paul, emphasis on most valuable. I think the best player in the league consistently when they've been on the court has been Joel Embiid. Game for game, consistently on the court, I think it's been Embiid. But I think the most valuable player is Chris Paul. Because again, like I said on my last show, Phoenix hasn't been in the playoffs in a decade. And pretty much you added Chris Paul to your roster. You had Devin Booker, you had DeAndre Ayton, you had Bridges, and you added Chris Paul, and now you have the second best record in basketball. That's pretty damn valuable. Again, like I said, emphasis on most valuable player. So, again, I think he's the most valuable player of the league, but if the Phoenix Suns get the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round, kiss it goodnight. I'll be honest with you, I would not have said that a week ago. I promise you, I would not have said that a week ago, but when I saw Phoenix just look so flat and they could do nothing with Anthony Davis, DeAndre Ayton cannot do anything with AD. He can't do a damn thing with AD. Then you throw LeBron. If LeBron's 75, 80% healthy, they will beat the Phoenix Suns in the first round. So, and that, that really has to suck if you're Phoenix. You figure you're having this great season. I'm pretty sure midway through, once you creeped into that 3rd spot, like, hey, we got a chance. We're going to be a top, not a top 4 seed. We're going to be a top 3 seed. And, the Lakers were right there. The Lakers and the Clippers were right there. You're saying, okay, All right, so we may sneak into being a top 3 seed. So guess what? We'll be good. Then LeBron gets hurt. Then AD gets hurt. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, we're number 2 in the West. Oh, shit. We have to play the Lakers. We have to play LeBron and AD. Now they're healthy. And Schroeder. Ain't this about a bitch? I'm not going to say Phoenix would have no chance, but I would give them little to no chance to beat the Lakers in the first round. That's why I asked the question. Would the Lakers rather be in the 7th spot and just have to win a play-in game? Or would they rather be in the 6th spot, and while you would avoid the play-in games, you would more than likely be matched up with the Clippers? Let me tell you something. They ain't beating the Clippers. They're not beating the Clippers. I'm a Laker fan. The Los Angeles Lakers are not beating the Los Angeles Clippers, especially in the first round. Wife just got some good news today. I ain't gonna put the business out on blast, but she just got some good news today. So yeah, she just gave me a kiss. Thank you, baby. Mwah, mwah. But let me get back to what I was saying. They're not beating the Clippers in the first round. That's why I said this is a game of truth or dare. Okay, do you dare to play in this play-in game and possibly get Phoenix, a team that you will beat? Or even if you fall but if they play Utah, because you got Anthony Davis, you got Rudy Gobert right there. Yeah. So I think you would want to try to get the 7th spot. Utah, because I cannot sit here and say, hey, if the Lakers get the 8th spot, they're definitively beating the Utah Jazz. I can't say that. I cannot realistically say that. But they'll beat Phoenix. But the problem is, do you dare be in the play-in game, or be true to yourselves and try to win out the rest of these games in the regular season, get a 6th seed, and then run into the Clippers, a team that is specifically built to beat you? So that's the thing that you have to pay attention to. The Los Angeles Clippers were specifically put together to beat the Lakers. And if you now, Clippers have been banged up too. Serge Ibaka hasn't played in forever. He should be back this week. Kawhi dealing with a little hand issue. But the Clippers are the deepest team in basketball. They are the deepest team in basketball, and if the Lakers are quasi banged up, they're not beating the Clippers. Okay, I can say that. I say that confidently and with a straight face. They ain't beating the Clippers. What's wrong with y'all? They're not beating the Los Angeles Clippers, especially in the first round. Matter of fact, I damn near would give them no shot to beat the Clippers in the first round. Why? Because LeBron would still be a little cold from returning from his injury, especially because you got to think those 2 games that he played against the Raptors and I forget who the other team was. He didn't look good at all. He looked like a shell of himself. If you wanted to see I would give the Lakers a better chance of beating the Clippers if they ran into them in the second round. That way LeBron's had more games under his belt. That way he'd be getting stronger. You're not beating them in the first round. It's just not going to happen.
You niggas are crazy!
So that's the major question to me in the world of the NBA. What's going to go on with the Lakers? Because if you win tonight, if you beat the Knicks tonight, again, a Knicks team that has a lot to play for, then you are probably going to set yourself up to be the 6th seed. Portland's last 3 games are hellfire. I could easily see them losing 2 of those 3 games and potentially winning their last game at home against the Nuggets. If the Lakers and the Blazers finish with the same record, Portland has the tiebreaker, unfortunately. Now, I'll quickly get to the Eastern Conference. I mentioned the Knicks. If the Knicks win tonight, they are in prime, great position to finish with the number 4 seed. Knicks are the best story in basketball. They would be in prime position to host a playoff series, being the 4th seed. Of course, they play the Lakers tonight. Then they go home. They play their last 2 games at home. They have 4 games left, so their last 3 games at home, they would have the San Antonio Spurs, who are fighting for their playoff lives as well. No gimme. They have the Charlotte Hornets, who are fighting for their playoff lives. They're right now in the 8th spot, looking at that play-in game. And then they would finish the season at home against the Boston Celtics, who are fighting for their playoff lives, playing situation. The Celtics just found out today, Jaylen Brown's gone for the rest of the year. That sucks. Young emerging superstar averaging just under 25 points a game. Done for the season for Boston. Finished. You look at the Eastern Conference standings, Philadelphia has set themselves apart. You know, I keep on, when Brooklyn put this big three together, I said, far-fetched to see anybody beating them. I said, but the one team that would give them problems would be the Philadelphia 76ers. The Milwaukee Bucks may have something to say about that too, but I'm telling you, Philadelphia right now, it is no foregone conclusion, believe me, that the Brooklyn Nets are going to go to the finals, even with
these nuts.
KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. They would be the favorite, justifiably so, but the Philadelphia 76ers are real. They are real. They are no joke, and they ain't playing with your bitch ass.
Biatch.
Okay? So we right now, the top 6 seeds, of course, Philly 1, Brooklyn 2, Milwaukee 3, New York 4, Atlanta 5, Miami 6. Miami has a big game with Boston tonight. I would have given the edge to Boston, but now you minus Jaylen Brown. You know, the Miami Heat still have aspirations on possibly hosting a playoff series as well. You know, that's all of that stuff is up in the air. So, I mean, pretty much what you're seeing here is that, let's say the Knicks win and Miami beats the Celtics. While all of that is great for, as far as keeping the drama up for the 4 through 6 between New York, ATL, and Miami, what you really would have done, if, say, the Knicks win tonight and the Heat win tonight, those teams would pretty much have assured themselves they will not be playing in the play-in game. That won't happen. So those 3 teams, and Atlanta won last night, the Knicks, the Hawks, and the Heat are all battling not just to stay out of the play-in game, but they're also battling to see who can get home court in the first round. If you're the New York Knicks, I would much rather see the Atlanta Hawks in the first round, no disrespect to them, than the Miami Heat. So actually, if I'm New York and Atlanta, I'm rooting for Boston tonight to beat Miami. And 7 through 10 is Boston, Charlotte, the Pacers at 9, the Wizards at 10. And I think that's the way it's going to be. I don't see, Chicago has a slight chance, but they have to win out and hope some things go their way. So they're done. I gotta give props to the Washington Wizards. Even though it sucks that Bradley Beal just pulled his hamstring, he had to miss last night's game, that they only lost by 1 point. They've been playing ball. Russell Westbrook, who was an all-star snub, and I kind of understand why he wasn't on the all-star team, because at the point in time when the all-star weekend happened, the Wizards were terrible. They just were terrible. Even though Russell Westbrook was putting up all-star numbers, you could not put Bradley Beal on there. He was the league leader in scoring at the time. So he made it as a starter, but Russell Westbrook missed it completely. And since then, Russell Westbrook has been on that scoring Aaron Rodgers I'll show you tour, as he has been lighting it up and lighting it up and lighting it up some more. I mean, triple-double after triple-double after triple-double. I mean, dude has been getting he's gone a few games where he's gotten 20-plus rebounds and 20-plus assists in the same fucking game. I mean, that's crazy. Now, the Wizards, they're 10, so they would have to literally win 2 games to get into the actual playoffs, which, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, okay, well, they're literally a game and a half out of the 8th spot. So if they did that, okay, I guess. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you can get Bradley Beal to be about 80% of himself during that play-in, I could see the Wizards grabbing that 8th spot and getting into the playoffs. I mean, I mean, hell, it's hard to gauge what they could potentially finish as because of their schedule. Well, really because now that Bradley Beal is out, they say he's going to be out at least one more game. I guarantee you, if Washington had a won last night, they would have held Bradley Beal out an extra game. But I don't know if they can afford to. They play tomorrow night at Atlanta. Yeesh. And then, they'll get in the play-in game because, like I said, I don't think the Bulls. Well, what's the Bulls' schedule? Well, Bulls gotta play Brooklyn. Good night.
Biatch.
Let's see. So the Wizards have at Atlanta, and then they have. Yes, I'm looking at their schedule. Then they finish their season at home against Charlotte, and they'll win that game. I think. But I think they should win that game. Oh, and they also have another home game Friday against Cleveland. They'll win that game. So, meanwhile, the Indiana Pacers. This is the most fascinated I've been with the with basketball because it's getting down to crunch time. Meanwhile, the Pacers are at home tonight against the Sixers. Sixers trying to secure that number 1 seed, so I think they're gonna win. I think Philadelphia's gonna win that game. Then they have at Milwaukee. Milwaukee's in a 2-3 battle with Brooklyn. So I think the Pacers are going to lose that game. And then the Pacers have the Lakers set. Ooh, ugly finish for Indiana. Yikes. So, we shall see. Like I said, this is the most fascinated I've been with the NBA all season because now we're down to the nitty-gritty. And the shit really, really matters now. And the most compelling thing to me is of course, with the injuries with the Lakers, is you're going to be looking at the defending champions who could finish as high as a 6 seed or finish as low as an 8th seed, which I'm pretty sure, around the time of the All-Star game, that wasn't seen as fathomable. So most of this show, yes, was going to be dedicated to the NBA. And quickly, let me go to the NF of the L. And I'm going to go there quickly. Not going to go into the Aaron Rodgers discussion. Reports are that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to sign Tim Tebow as a tight end. Now, I'm not going to be long on this. I'm not going to sit here. I don't want to go there. Yeah, I don't want to go there. But you see, how can Tim Tebow? You see, Tim Tebow has not played in an NFL regular season game since the 2011 season, if I'm not mistaken. Tebow has not played in. Not 2011, 2012. He hasn't played in a regular season game in 9 years. And he's going to be back in the NFL because the Jacksonville Jaguars coach is Urban Meyer. And like I said, he hasn't played in a regular season game since 2012, but he's had tryouts. He tried out for the Patriots in 2013, tried out for the Eagles in 2015.
And we're gonna kick your fucking ass.
And he's gonna get signed, and he will be on an active NFL roster. Good for him. I've always been a Tebow fan. He was my favorite player in college football because he played for my favorite team, the Florida Gators, my favorite college football team outside of the state of Virginia. And then he played for my favorite football team, the Denver Broncos. So I've always been a Tebow fan, and he's clearly getting this opportunity because Urban Meyer, his former college coach, also his fucking neighbor, is the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars now. But he is getting this shot. How come Colin Kaepernick can't get a tryout? I'm just asking. And I get that Tebow's not going to sign as a quarterback. He had these opportunities 8-9 years ago when teams wanted to sign him and have him be a tight end. But he wanted to live out his dream as an NFL quarterback. You know, who is anybody to tell him that he can't do anything, that he can't accomplish his dream of being an NFL quarterback? that's all well and good. But I don't think quarterback would be an issue with Colin Kaepernick. He led a team to the Super Bowl as the quarterback, and then the next season led them to the NFC Championship game as the motherfucking quarterback. My thing is, he can't even get a tryout. And the NFL has apologized for the way they handled the situation when it came to social injustices. They did not say his name because of legal ramifications that basically would prove that he was blackballed in the situation, which he has still been blackballed. But I mean, Colin Kaepernick hasn't played in the NFL since 2016. If you want to be technical, January 1st, 2017. And that would be anybody's excuse. Well, he hasn't played in the NFL in 4 full seasons. Tim Tebow hasn't played in an NFL regular season game in damn near a decade. So what are you trying to say? I mean, good for Tim. I mean, he's going to be taking away a roster spot from a young player who's who is more deserving. But that Tim Tebow is going to say, it's my dream to continue to play in the NFL, and I can actually play in the NFL. It's always been a dream to play for my college football quarterback, Urban Meyer, in the NFL. He understands my potential, and he knows my hopes and my dreams and my aspirations, and I should be able to do that, and it's the American dream because I'm the American way. I love Tebow. I do. But, I mean... Bye, bitch. Okay. I mean... One thing that I've been shocked that I haven't heard, because I've said this over the last couple of years. Tim Tebow probably looked at Taysom Hill, what he's been doing for the Saints, and saying, I can still do that. And I don't doubt that he can. But pretty much that's really what Taysom Hill to me was a poor man's version of Tim Tebow. A gadget guy who would catch passes, who would be on special teams, who would play quarterback. He looked pathetic as a starting quarterback. I mean, they just had such a stacked team around him, but he ain't no damn starting quarterback. Taysom Hill is a football player, which is no knock on that. He'll be doing what he continues to do, especially if he plays for the Saints. But Tim Tebow was probably looking at him saying, hey, I can do that.
Excellent.
He just needed the correct person to give him an opportunity, because won't no other coach going to give him an opportunity, especially after not even playing a regular season game since 2012. No coach was going to take a shot on that. But, hey, gotten lucky. Good for him. All right, and quickly to the sweet science. This past weekend, I saw the Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders fight that was on the Zone. It was a pretty good fight. I actually thought BJ Saunders was slightly ahead, but then he got hit with an uppercut inside, and what happened is it actually ended up breaking his orbital bone. And I was thinking, because when his eyes started swelling, and then when they went into the corner, I was like, okay, now he's gonna have to show that hort, show what he's made of. And they stopped the fight. I was like, what? And then just to find out later on that his orbital bone was indeed broken. I mean, I can't blame him for wanting to stop the fight. I mean, it's not me in there taking punches. I did see Antonio Margarito fight Manny Pacquiao for half a fight with a broken orbital bone. I would say that was a dumb thing to do. But hopefully he'll be back. And Canelo, Canelo is a lot of people's top fighter, pound for pound. Not mine. I believe he's in the conversation. I think Terrence Crawford is top pound for pound fighter in the world, followed by Errol Spence Jr. I want to see Canelo fight one of the Charlo brothers. I do. That's who I want to see. I want to see him fight one of the Charlo brothers. I don't remember which one it is. That's at the middleweight, Jermall or Jermel. But I would like to see them fight Canelo. I believe they would give him serious problems, because he just unified the super middleweight belts. There's one belt out there for super middleweight, and that's Caleb Plant is the champion. And Canelo will beat the shit out of him. Caleb Plant ain't on that level. He's not. He might have a belt, he's not on that level. So big win by Canelo. It was just announced today that the Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua heavyweight unification super mega fight will be slated for August, more likely than not August the 14th, because the Olympics will have come to a close by then, and that it'll be in Saudi Arabia, the same place where Anthony Joshua had his rematch against Andy Ruiz when he regained his portion of the heavyweight championship. So that'll be something. I tell you what, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that, to see Fury and Joshua. That'll be a great fight. But without further ado, folk, with a buzzer. Okay, well, I am about to load this up and go scoop my son up from school, but I definitely hope everybody stays safe and everybody is looking good, feeling good. And I will be back next week. Like I said, these things will be heating up. Next week, it will be the official beginning of the play-in games for the NBA. We'll see what happens more with football, particularly in the situation of Aaron Rodgers. Come on, Denver. Come on, close the deal. And as far as baseball goes, too early. But anyway, it's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns. If you have not hit that subscription button, definitely hit that subscription button underneath and become part of the Sports Plus Life family. It's your boy. I'm out this beer. Peace.